Hola.
There's my Ray Ray.
There's my girl. What's happening?
Oh, it's a new week, which I'm going to end the week in Chicago.
And you're going to be here doing a little speaking engagement on Sunday night, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds so formal. Basically, it's just Jen
You're going
Weigel.
to be here drinking some cocktails in some wine bar.
Basically. I don't know if they serve cocktails at Madame Zuzu's. I'm guessing they do. But I think what they do is they close at 4, and then Jen Weigel gets the space to do her spiritual social club at 4:30. So I'm doing that 4:30 to 6 on Sunday. What is that, the 19th, I think, of February? And I think some people have Monday off for President's Day. So if we're still celebrating presidents, but I'm not getting into anything political.
There's a lot of people that were saying yesterday what we should do with the Super Bowl is have it be a week later. That way, a lot of people have off Monday for President's Day. They still do. And that might be, kind of cool because a lot of people call in sick anyway. I mean, there's a lot of people but who gets that balled up at the Super Bowl where you have to take the next day off? It's like, come on, man, grow up.
Well, I mean, we went through stages, remember? Well, I can't speak for you, but last year I actually went to a Super Bowl party. So last night I was by myself on my couch. I didn't even have a cocktail. I didn't even have a beer, nothing. I had some jambalaya that I made. You can get the recipe at gritology.com in grit.
That's like Montana jambalaya.
It was super good. But last year I went to a Super Bowl party and it started early. And I can see there were a few people that could care less about the game. They were just drinking.
I used to have a producer. Mick Kaler was his name. Great producer. He worked for Larry Lujak back in the day. Good guy. He would always take off for the next Monday. I'm like, really? And here's the deal. I guess like Gina yesterday, she's like, now I can watch that kind of football game, but I can't watch that crap you make me watch, like the Bears games. And I'm like, that's because this is actually exciting. But I still don't know, even back in the day, man, if I would have been working for my dad and I called in sick or didn't go to work because I was hungover from the Super Bowl, that's almost as bad as watching the Super Bowl by yourself without a cocktail.
I know, it was pretty bad. That's why I had to throw in last year. I actually went to a party. It was a great party. The guy's actually from Chicago and dude's loaded. And he flew in Portillo's for the party. So I get there and I'm like, Portillo's? What? Flew in the beef, and all the Montanans there are like, yeah, this is good. I'm like, no. Let me show you how it's done. And you got to pour the sauce. You got to make it extra wet. So it was pretty awesome having some Portillo's taste of home.
So what'd you think of the game yesterday? I thought, I didn't watch like all the pre-coverage that started like 6 a.m. I probably flipped it on at about 4:45 or 5 o'clock because it was so nice yesterday in Chicago. I had both cars washed, cleaned out the floor in the garage. We put on 15,000 or 16,000 steps. I mean, the weather here has just been nuts. Nice. So yeah, I'm actually going to, saddle up on my bicycle today and go put some miles on. So I'm never going to waste a day watching any sporting event. Maybe if a Chicago team is in it, maybe. Yeah. But I thought that Fox did a really nice job of incorporating. This is really, I haven't told Gina, I said, this game is almost bigger than the 4th of July nowadays. And Fox did a really nice job with Johnny Cash's Ragged Old Flag with the choir, the flyover,
all
which
women
I thought
flyover.
was cool. And
that was awesome.
I know that it's a big deal, but I don't know why it is that it was an all women flyover and we make such a big deal out of that. I mean, hey, we have some women fighter pilots and pilots these days. Wake up, America. And there were no objects blown out of the sky in Arizona, I'm told, floating around. But
they were hanging out with us again this weekend. Those floating
I thought it was done really well, didn't you?
What?
I thought it was done really well.
The Super Bowl, yeah. It was. So I tuned in just in time for the national anthem. I turned it on and Chris Stapleton was singing. And I thought he did a phenomenal job. I was listening this morning. Some people were comparing him to Whitney Houston. And I was like, oh, no. I don't think we can compare anyone ever to Whitney Houston. And it occurred to me when she sang the national anthem, the Gulf War had just started like weeks or a couple months prior to that. So our nation was kind of on edge.
Yeah.
Where we are now with things being shot down out of the sky, 4 of them now, I think. And yeah, our nation is just in a bad place and a little on edge. So I think that may have contributed to how emotional it was. And the Eagles coach, I hope people aren't teasing him. Have you listened to any radio? Are people teasing him about that?
No, people love it. You know, there's a faction of people that will say, oh, you know, people are going to hate on the national anthem. People are going to hate on the country. But I think that by and large, and at least with, you know, a lot of people that follow me and I follow, we're all like-minded. I thought it was really cool. I thought how genuine. And you think about it, it's probably not just a God and country thing, but he's at the pinnacle of his sport. He's got arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He's made it to the big stage. He's having fun. What a moment. I mean, can you imagine? You work all your life to get there, and then all of a sudden that anthem plays and everything that you've worked so hard for, it just hits you. And, I thought the cool thing about this coach, and I don't watch a lot of the NFL product throughout the year, but he had fun in the game yesterday. There were times when he was looking across the field at Mahomes and they were goofing and joking and laughing at each other.
Oh, seriously?
He had fun. Yeah, it was during a video replay, and Mahomes in the offense started to get back on the field, and Sirianni just goes, "You might want to stay back over there." And they knew that the call was going to go the way of the Eagles, and Mahomes was laughing. He was laughing. I thought it was, I just thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah, it's a good message. It sends a good message. Not only that this guy will cry on national TV, but he can have fun with the competition. And at the end of the day, it is just a game. Yes,
it is.
It's a big
game. It really, what does it matter in the scope of things? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it matters to some people, but I think the message that got out through the commercials, some of the commercials were great. And just through, I want to ask you this question, talking again about the national anthem. So I watched a replay and I was just bawling. And
that's because you were alone.
I know. There's something to that.
You were alone. You didn't have anybody. You're watching the Super Bowl crying. How did I get to this place?
I asked me. I don't even know what you said, but I know that it was. I'm sad. My son was here. My roommate was here. Neither one of them had any interest in the Super Bowl. I'm like, come on. I made jambalaya. Let's sit and watch this American tradition. Let's make memories. No, they were good. They were up on their computers. And anyway, and that's cool. I get that. But there's something about the national anthem that has always just gotten me. And I listened to Whitney Houston's version again. And I'm 10 seconds in, just what is it about the national anthem? Does it do that for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But people will paint me as, American flag waving, God and country kind of guy. And I am, man. I love it. I love the anthem. I think that, I'm a national anthem. The national anthem, it takes a minute and 36 seconds to sing. And, the guitar was cool and everything like that. I don't think in any way you can put that thing on playing with Whitney Houston. And I'm a Stapleton fan. But, I'm not a fan of instrumentation during the anthem. I think you go out there and you sing it, but I get it because he's so soulful. He's an R&B singer, and Stapleton interests me, first to answer your question, I think I always tear up a little during the anthem. But Stapleton is interesting because last year he had a song out called "So Long, Nashville, Tennessee. You Can't Have What's Left of Me," and it was kind of a soliloquy to
Oh, I love
how,
that word, soliloquy.
yeah, a soliloquy. It was kind of an ode to how the town has changed and how it's changed since he's been there, and what it did to him and how fame has affected him. And he said in a couple articles last year that he didn't like people searching him out, coming up his driveway, busting in on his private time. And I thought, there was some that kind of got the idea that he was going to leave the music scene because he's a successful writer in his own right. And writers, you can just go collect your mailbox money and never have to go on the road, never have to worry about going to the pick and save with people bothering you. But, then I'm thinking, well, something must have changed because now you're singing the national anthem. The other night you were on, the music awards, playing and doing a tribute to Smokey Robinson. So I don't think he's going away anytime soon. But I just thought it was interesting because, and I think that people have peaks and valleys as to where they go in their career. And I can't even imagine what it's like for people that have, people that have this kind of success,
Yeah. I think he's going more mass appeal. And I think that's happening with a lot of country artists. You're hearing them on pop radio more and more.
Yeah, I mean, it's been that way for a long time. Countrypolitan. I mean, that happened. That started in the late '80s and early '90s. It's really it's really no different now. But
I love that Rihanna started her halftime performance with "Bitch Better Have My Money."
I don't. I'm not a big Rihanna fan, but I thought the staging was cool. Yeah. I didn't know what was with the people in the hazmat suits. I really didn't get that, But pretty cool pregnancy reveal.
No kidding. I mean, think about that. This baby's going to be like the youngest performer ever at a Super Bowl. If you could
fly,
performance,
first time moms, they get all weird and it's like, oh, I got to be careful because I've got this thing living inside me and I've got to do everything correct and right. And here's Rihanna swinging in on a stage. Take that, new moms.
And up on this floating platform, I saw her tethered, I'm like, okay, she has to be tethered. And until I saw it,
she loses
queasy.
She loses points for that, Kathy. If you're going to be up there, no tether, no net.
Well, she's a mama first now. And I was reading some of the reviews of the halftime performance with Rihanna, and some people are just, because part of me was like, okay, maybe her music wasn't enough. So she's got these, I call them just this harem of humping rabbits is what they looked like at some point. I'm like, are they supposed to be rabbits? What are they doing?
Yeah, that's how you get pregnant.
so yeah, but a lot of the reviews that I saw, they just call her the queen of nonchalance. And she's, as a performer, she's like into minimalism. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, yeah, I mean, she nailed that. Rihanna has always held a lot of herself close to the vest, and she hasn't really exposed a lot of herself. A few years ago, I think she got asked to do the Super Bowl and she turned it down. And the Super Bowl certainly needed Rihanna more than she needed the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that she's a billionaire from her cosmetics company. Which, did you see when she took the compact of makeup and put the makeup on?
Yeah, well played.
Yeah, that was her product. Very well played, Rihanna. So I don't know. The more I thought about it, the more I thought that she just really did a good job. She had no guests. What are you doing? Did you move your...
Plugging my phone in.
Oh.
I'm a little low on battery.
Oh. She had no guests. She had no costume changes. No, some performers just go full out exertion and just, a lot of stuff for the eyes and nonstop ADHD. And then other people, like you two, they like to send a message, which I think is great. But overall, I think she did a really good job. I asked my daughter.
What would be your favorite Super Bowl halftime ever? Now that you're probably old enough to have seen 6 or 7 Super Bowls.
Right. Nothing compares to you, Prince. Nothing ever. Prince, hands down.
I would put Prince second.
Who would you put
First, I would put 1985 Chicago Bears Super Bowl with I believe it was Up With People.
Hey, so let's talk about the commercials. What was your favorite? Go.
I liked the Kia Binky Dad.
Yeah.
I liked WordPress's Rockstar with
That was
Ozzy
good.
Osbourne and Kiss, and I think it was Pat Benatar.
That did
was
look
Joan Jett. I mean, I don't know. I get him. I like that.
awesome.
I liked Dodge's commercial for their new electric truck, premature electrification.
That was funny.
That was I thought that was well done, and that's Dodge, man. Dodge always they throw hard and long, man. They always do stuff that is so out of left field. That really goes to their brand because they have some really cool muscle cars and some really awesome stuff. And those Dodge boys, they have fun. I laughed.
That was very funny. And I do like that it was a little humbling for the men. All the men were like, yeah. Yeah.
I have PE.
Premature electrification. That was good. So I looked at what the top ranked ads were, and that farmer's dog food, that came in as number one. Sentimental. Anytime you put dogs in a commercial, any animal, but anytime you put dogs in a commercial, you're going to do well, especially if it's sentimental. I think Amazon had another one with dogs.
Hey, Gina, you guys don't like that farmer's dog food, do you?
Is it one of those brands?
Their nutrients and minerals packets are sourced from China.
They don't. Okay, so here's the deal with that, and this has nothing to do with the commercial. But while we were watching that, all natural over here starts chiming in. We have a friend who's got a pet store in Winnetka. Her name's Angie DeMar. She's fantastic. Noah's Ark Pet Shop, and she is our go-to for anything when it comes to our pets and their health and their nutrition. And yeah, the food is sourced from China. Get over here.
Okay.
Come here. You look really good today.
That's right.
Here she comes.
Yeah, don't
Because
here she comes.
Hi. No, the food is not sourced from China. They add in, when you make homemade dog food, dogs still need the vitamins and nutrients that like humans get from supplements.
You're
so
right.
They add in nutrient packs, and the nutrient packs are supposedly sourced from China.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because we want to feed these little babies as good as we can.
I mean,
Only
some
the
companies that you think are small businesses, I mean, technically they are, but they're backed by a lot of investors that are big brand investors. So your small sourced high quality stuff kind of goes to the wayside a little bit.
You're pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I wondered where they got the money for this commercial, and I was going to check into them. It's really disheartening when they spend so much money, and as we all know, these commercials try to sell a product and tug at our heartstrings. It's like, okay, and a lot of people just don't have the time to do the research and to believe, and they just believe them. They believe what they're seeing. And if I've learned anything from dealing with a bunch of sick kids and myself with mold and Lyme, it's no. You just can't take their word for it. You have to dive in and really get to the truth and the research. And especially when it comes to what we put into our bodies and our pets' bodies. So, but it was a cute commercial.
It was definitely a cute commercial, and kind of along those same lines is that we found a tick on Hutchie this morning, and I immediately called up my friend Angie because I was giving the dogs, I think it was the Paraco Trio, which my vet had recommended, which I was kind of, once I found out the side effects to it, I was actually surprised that she actually recommended it because she is more like natural medicine, but it causes like major seizures. Like there's an entire Facebook group of people whose dogs have suffered from seizures from this product.
What
So
was
I
the
called
product
her.
again?
Simparico Trio.
What is it?
It's flea and tick prevention medicine that you
Gotcha.
put on.
Okay.
It's actually a pill that you give to the dog. So it's not like a topical, it's a pill.
Okay.
In case we haven't said it recently, you're listening to the Kathy and Gina podcast.
Sorry. So I immediately texted her and I was like, okay, you said not to use this, but I found a tick on Hutchie. What am I supposed to use? So I called up the store and ordered a essential oil spray that they're sending me in the mail because they do mail orders. If you're not local to Winnetka. And so you just spray it on the dogs every day. And that way I don't have to feed them chemicals.
Well, and you know what? I just read over the weekend that, and we'll get back to commercials in a bit, I swear, right after that.
I feel like we're wandering.
We are wandering, but hey, we can. I did read over the weekend that ticks do survive the winter because a lot of people believed that, oh, it's winter, they're dying off. And they're not. They can burrow themselves in leaf piles and wherever, and they actually produce something, I forgot the name of it, it's a big long word, that is like antifreeze. So they basically just survive the winter.
Premature electrification.
They're out there. Gina, you and I need to start our own podcast for people that are actually interested in all this health stuff.
Yes. So, but yeah, Farmer's Dog, basically any company that you see that's using influencers, like big influencers, those influencers get paid a lot of money, like sometimes like $200,000 for like 6 months worth of work.
Wow.
So they're getting money from somewhere. And
Ray, how can we be one of those?
Well,
I don't know.
I do have clients that I do have clients that I social influence for, but it ain't nowhere near that amount of money.
No kidding. Damn, we had to work. Okay, what else? What other commercials? I'm trying to think.
I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you walk away.
Okay.
That, you know what? I enjoyed the WeatherTech Made in America commercials just because it's a local company. I've had a chance to meet that nut David McNeil. And
I remember
what's that?
I remember days with him. He's a good guy, good company.
Yeah, and my friend's daughter works in their PR department. Her name's Lauren Litt, and I'm sure she had a chance in putting that commercial together. And I know that they are big dog rescue advocates at WeatherTech. So I like that. I didn't pay as close of attention to the commercials as I should have, but I see that the Bradley Cooper one with his mom is getting high marks.
That was very funny. Oh my gosh, does he look like his mother? Although she's so short. If you didn't see it, when they're walking away, Bradley Cooper, I don't know how tall he is, but his mama is really short and looks just like him. It was adorable. I would definitely Google that one. Did you see the one with J-Lo and Ben Affleck?
I did not. Were they still mad at each other?
So it was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. You have to watch it. Ben Affleck is working the window at Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, and people are like recognizing him. And I missed what she said or what he said. He said something about like he bought a Dunkin'. I can't remember what it was. I didn't even hear what it was. But he's basically working the drive-through, and she pulls up in a minivan in her mink coat or whatever, flashy coat, and she's like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Okay, I'll come home." So it was actually cute. And it was a little endearing after what happened at what was it? The Golden Globes? Whatever awards it was. Oh,
no, it wasn't. It was
the Grammys.
Some kind of, Grammys.
Where he was just a drip. And I loved one of your posts where you're like, "Don't be a Ben."
I just think she is fantastic. I mean, she is spectacular. She's still Jenny from the block.
Yeah.
When Jennifer Lopez came out all those years ago, I was like, gosh, this chick is stunning. She's stellar. And, when you're from New York, you're from a certain block. And although I've heard that she's a diva. I mean, why wouldn't she be? I mean, she's fantastic. Do whatever you want. Make yourself happy. But I just think, she is just one of these people like, Lena Horne or somebody along that line that just defies age, because now, my goodness, if you're over 30, well, let's just throw you out in the trash because you're not 30 anymore. But she's She's awesome. And another thing, and I think what might have happened last night, Kathy, during the commercial breaks, I may have been mixing up more cocktails because I did have some cocktails last night. And I did see the one that interests me, and it was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Air.
The shoe.
The movie coming out called Air.
Yeah. It's a movie about a shoe. You know,
it's a movie about Michael Jordan becoming the basis for this movie and the basis for this shoe. And look at the success. It's an incredible story. I knew a little bit about it, and I don't know how, but it's a fascinating story. I had no idea that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were working together on this movie.
Me either, but I tweeted out last night. I said, "Hey, LeBron, you gonna go see it? Because Michael Jordan's the best ever." And Gina's like, "Well, that was mean."
Did LeBron get booed? I read a headline that LeBron got booed at the Super Bowl last night.
Was he there?
He was there. He was in some suite. Yeah.
I don't know why anybody boo him. I mean, let's face it, man. If you're from Chicago, it'll always be Michael Jordan. It'll always be Jordan. And I saw somewhere Jordan was talking about reaching, I believe it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, I think it was him who had the most points record before LeBron broke it. And Michael said, if I was worried about breaking that record, I wouldn't have retired so early. But what else did this guy have to do? You know, did it all with one, well, basically with one team until he went to I think it was Washington. But
yeah, that didn't count.
I mean, he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. We love Michael Jordan. Just like you can't tell me that there's any running back that's ever going to be better than Walter Payton. It just won't happen in this house. And if you say it, you get kicked out. I thought Brittany Payton and I thought Jared Payton looked great last night. I love those two. I love Connie Payton. I love the whole Payton family. Walter Payton was awesome. You want to get me to cry? I talk about Walter Payton. He was the best, man.
That guy was incredible. Yeah. I mean, what an athlete. And we could go on and on talking about him for sure.
What did you think of the game, though? I mean, the game itself. I mean, we get so caught up in everything. I thought the game was spectacular.
Oh, it was so fun to watch. I personally was cheering for the Eagles because my dad passed away and he was an Eagles fan. So I'm like, come on, let's get one for Dad. But it was. I just wanted a great game, and it was just pretty amazing to see how the players. You could just see the players that were stepping up and playing through. And some people were teasing Patrick Mahomes about, oh, he doesn't have an ankle injury, and it just, I don't know. It's a little unsettling when I see people criticize like that because he had to have come through a lot of pain, and a lot of players did, I believe.
Greg Olson, and I don't know why I can't place his broadcast partner last night. I thought they did a really good job, but they said, in most instances, a Super Bowl halftime is 13 minutes, but tonight or yesterday, it would be closer to a half hour because of the performance and all the moving parts that go into it. And they said that will benefit Mahomes to go in and get, whatever, how many steroids and how many drugs they got to pump into this guy and how many shots they got to put into his high ankle sprain. But whatever it is, it worked. And there were some people last night, Megyn Kelly, especially. Remember Megyn Kelly from Fox? Mm-hmm. She was like, well, Travis Kelce should be more, he should really be more gracious. He just won the Super Bowl and he's got a chip on his shoulder. And I'm like, well, could that be because everybody on the Fox network picked the Eagles to win? Everybody picked the Eagles to win. Nobody picked the Chiefs.
Whoa.
And I'm like, he saw that and he's pissed. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But everybody thought that the Eagles were going to ride in and take it. Then and I know they're everybody's talking about that questionable holding call. And I'm like, sorry, man, it doesn't come down to one call.
You don't think so?
No, because there's two other things that I think of when I think of that call last night. Was it holding? It's questionable. What do I know? I'm not a ref. But did he impede that guy from being where he needed to be? Hard for me to say. I mean, I'm no NFL expert. But I thought there were a couple plays that happened last night that also were questionable. One, there was a throw from Jalen Hurt. It was caught, bobbled, dropped, returned for a touchdown, and it got called back. So that went against Kansas City. Now they're saying he didn't make that football move. You know what the football move is? That's you have to make 3 steps with possession of the ball in order for it to be a football move. Well, probably 3 or 4 plays later, when the Eagles had possession and they were going towards the end zone, there was a sideline catch where I don't think the Eagles player had that football move or possession.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it was,
I see your point.
so,
Without
so, I mean,
tuning into ESPN analysts, I see your point. Any play could have gone a different way if the Kansas City.
I was an Eagles fan, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's from a, you know, kind of a laissez-faire way of watching it, that I didn't have skin in the game.
I don't know if you can hear the my
Is that your cat?
She is in full spaz out mode.
Yeah.
Full spaz out.
I got, as you know, this dog just sits on my lap. He's sitting on my lap and he's just ripping them.
Well, boxers are known. Oh, she's awake. Hey, Roomba. She's a boxer. They are known for ripping them. So watch. She's going to come running out.
With a cat?
Yeah. She comes running out of the room, goes jumping on the chair. Anyway, squirrel. Here she comes.
This whole episode has been like that. This is all over the place.
Oh, she's such a spaz. Whatever. I'm sorry. I can edit this out too. Okay, so we have to talk about the Jesus commercials. Did you see those?
Yeah.
So I know people are talking about those, and I think it's great. I think that people are like, was that just a commercial for Jesus in the Super Bowl?
He's got a big ad budget.
Do you know where the budget came from for this? Majority of
My
it?
Pillow?
The Hobby Lobby dude. The guy
That's
that owns
cool.
Hobby Lobby. So it's not just him, as a lot of other investors, private donors. So they have, I think they said over $1 billion over a 3-year campaign. So this kicked it off. And basically they're seeing the separation and how our world is just becoming so much more secular. Nobody's going to church anymore. You know, kids are not being dragged along and forced to go to church because the parents don't want to go to church because it's an hour out of their day that they just don't want to spend the time for. But I think that I think everybody can agree that I don't know if you grew up going to church, but we've lost our moral compass. I really believe that. And I won't preach, but that's the purpose behind these commercials, is just to have a dialogue about Jesus and how Jesus was a refugee. Mary was a teen mom, pregnant she wasn't married at that time. So anyway, the whole thing is just about he gets us, and Jesus was just like all of this. The commercial that I really liked the most, because they have a bunch of them, was the one with the kids, the little kids. It's like, be childlike. And there's several references in the Bible about being childlike, and not to be confused with childish. So, because a lot of us can be childish, and I think that's fun, and we should be at times. But just because the children have this innocence that hasn't been changed yet, and there's no judgment in children, until the world gets a hold of them and changes them, that's what they want us to be like. And that's what Jesus was like. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I thought it was awesome.
You know what I say to that? Rayman.
What does Rayman mean?
Rayman.
What?
It's kind of like a mixture of me and Amen.
Oh, I get it. I thought you said Rain Man. We are a mess today. We're all over.
It's funny,
Rayman.
but you bring up the Jesus, and I know that you believe it. But there's a lot of people that at the beginning of the game, and this is where NFL on Fox differs than NFL on CBS. Mahomes is in the end zone, start of the game, one knee, doing his little prayer.
Yeah.
And they knew he was going to do it. I mean, timing is everything. And then he points up to the Jesus, and he's like, he just prayed in the end zone in the NFL, which is so openly woke, it's almost a joke how woke the NFL is. I'm sorry, but I think we create our own problems in this country. I think, we virtue signal in this country. I don't think that putting end racism on the back of any helmets is solving a damn problem anywhere. And but for Fox, when it's the Fox product, they are gonna accentuate the country, the flag, the Johnny Cash ragged old flag bit, the praying. There's a lot of people yesterday that were thanking God at the end of the game. And hey man, I just think that you believe what you believe, but I'm glad that Fox doesn't censor that out. I thought Fox did a really nice job yesterday.
I did too. It was really enjoyable to watch from start to finish. I thought that they did a good job. And I tend to be a little, I don't know if skeptical is the right word of the NFL, but just a little disgusted.
I don't need it. See, that's it. I don't need the NFL. And we watched the Super Bowl yesterday because we didn't have anything else to do. I certainly, if I was up north in northern Wisconsin and there was snow on the ground and my snowmobiles were sitting around, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. But yesterday we had a full day. I know I sent you some text messages. I'm like, it's 50 degrees here. All my cars are washed. My garage is washed. The floor is clean. We took the dogs for the walk. We're bumping our steps up, trying to get 15,000 to 20,000 steps in a day. Dang. And, we'd done everything. So now it was a chance for, us to sit down, have a couple cocktails and just watch this thing that is, an American pastime. But I don't need the NFL. But yesterday I was entertained by the NFL. I'm okay with that.
It was entertainment, and I did enjoy it. It was great. I asked my daughter what she thought about the Rihanna, because I said she's in Philly, and I didn't know if at her dorm or there were like parties to support the Eagles in Philly. I was like, are you going to watch the Super Bowl? She's like, only for Rihanna. So when Rihanna's halftime performance was over, I texted her. I'm like, how was it? She's like, the response I got back was, she ate. I think that's good. She ate. That's a 21-year-old. She ate.
I know.
Hey, I think that's good. So yeah.
So I don't know what I've learned today.
Not much, just that we're all over the place. You know what though? Super Bowl talk is just Super Bowl talk. It's like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? There were so many elements to the Super Bowl to discuss, whatever.
But you bring up so many. One, this is just a conversation. And I think you and I live in a world where we were taught that everything has to be super focused, hyper focused. Everything needs to have a point, and then we got to move along to the next point because we think like radio people, and most people don't think like that. And I always used to tell program directors, I'm like, because this doesn't fit the way you think a conversation should go, doesn't mean it doesn't have value, or doesn't mean it's not worth anything. Because when you watch the farmer's dog commercial, you're right. Oh, wow, what a cute commercial. I need to get that for my dog. But then you got somebody like, Miss Spectacular that I share a house with, who's like, no, let's look into what this is and knows the ins and outs of it.
Yeah.
And then I think that that this conversation is what everybody's talking about today, after the big game. And I did have one thing I wanted to ask you. This is from a listener, a viewer, or whatever.
Okay.
And their question to you, and his kid's name is Kyle. He said, why did Kathy decide to go from Chicago to Montana? It seems like a pretty big leap. Why so far?
Well, as a matter of fact, Ray, that's what I'm going to be discussing when I come to Madame Zuzu's on Sunday.
Okay, now this was not planned.
I know.
You turned it right into a commercial.
It wasn't. And I'm not going to be that kind of person to leave you hanging. It is a pretty long answer, which I get to in my memoir.
Well, don't give it to me now then, because this has been long enough.
I know it has been, but lots of reasons. I know. So this is not a typical off the air with Kathy and Ray. We are a little more organized, but again, it's like you said, it's Super Bowl talk. So we're choosing to be all over the place today, and I don't care because it is Super Bowl talk. But we can talk about that maybe in the next podcast. I'll talk about it. It's about getting out of your comfort zone and just having the balls to pull the trigger.
I got to tell you, for the first time in, I think, 4 years, I did a live broadcast as opposed to a dead one on Saturday from the Chicago Auto Show. And there was a lot of television people there. I saw Tracy Butler. I saw my friend Jen DeSalvo from NBC5. Saw a lot of radio people. And they know that you and I are doing this little thing. And I got to tell you, I get more questions about you. And I'm like, these are not my questions to answer. I said, someday even I'll find out all these stories. And then maybe it's in the book. I don't know. But they're listening. People know. What are Ray and Kathy doing? Oh, I'm sorry.
We're just having fun. That's all.
What are Kathy and Ray doing? I put my name first. Damn me.
I did it alphabetical.
You'll notice the only time my name ever came first on a radio show was when I worked at US 79 with Trish Biano. It was Ramblin' Ray and Trish. Other than that, it's Lisa and Ray. I worked with Wendy Snyder for a little bit on WLS, and it was Wendy and Ray. I'm like, doesn't matter to me.
I mean,
problem with male radio hosts is
it matters to some people. It matters.
I don't have to worry about that.
No, you don't.
I don't have PE.
For anyone that didn't see that commercial, you got to go check it out.
It's pretty good.
It was
okay. So you're going to be at Madame Zuzu's on Sunday.
Yes, 4:30 to 6. I
should come out to that.
Come out and see me. Bring G.
I'm going to see you Monday, though.
We're
going to hang out on Monday.
We are.
And then on Saturday, I'm back at the Chicago Auto Show. Now, the caveat to that is that our show that airs every Saturday on WLS with Jim O'Brill and Mark Bielik airs at 8. So we actually do the show before the auto show opens.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's still cool because we have a lot of guests.
Okay.
And it's it was cool to do radio again. It was fun.
I
still know what I'm doing.
It's just, it's in our blood. Once we, I knew from a very young age, growing up listening to WLS, Larry Lujak, blah, blah, blah. People have heard the story. I knew radio was in my blood, and I've been out here. I've healed. I've gone through a bunch of stuff. I feel good. And it's just like, and I miss it. So, yeah, I'll see you on Monday.
And your droopy eye is good.
Is it better? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was some kind of nerve damage, something. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. What are we going to work on this week? You're good enough. You're strong enough.
I'm worthy.
And damn it, people like you.
I know. I preach this to other people, and yeah, it's all good. I'm fucking awesome. How about that?
We'll leave it right there.
See ya. Blessings, everyone.